storms. All right, let me mute my mic here. Okay. Are we good?
There we go. Yeah, YouTube was, well,
Okie doke.
all right, yeah, I am ready.
All right, I will commence and just keep going until hopefully the storms fade. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Good, thank you.
Okay, bye. All right, friends, good Saturday evening. Meteorologist Keith Gibson in the First Alert Weather Center. I want to go ahead and give you an update on the storm situation that is moving in parts of northeastern Wisconsin right now. Let's get into First Alert Viper Max. I will try to effort getting my comment section loaded up on the old Facebook comments if you are watching there. If not, you are probably watching on our app or website or something like that, maybe your television screen. So let me just do some radar tracking for you tonight. Most of us not seeing a strong storm. We do have a little bit of activity now, and the one storm we're watching right now is for this one that is just west of the official TV market that we cover here in northeastern Wisconsin, but there's a very strong storm across southern Portage County. This is north of Plainfield, and this is moving east at about 45 miles per hour. And we're really concerned about some large hail in this, and also that it's moving east, that about 35 miles per hour, it's moving east and could affect the city of Waupaca here. So let's go in and inspect the hail potential. It was a little bit more robust earlier, but this complex has been around Wisconsin Rapids here not too long ago. And let's put this into query mode here. And we're still expecting the opportunity for where we see the grays, quarter-size hail or larger, and even some smaller stones mixed on in. So this storm is moving east at 35. So let's do a quick storm track on that. And that would put it near Waupaca at 746. I'll put a few extra cities on here too. So again, Waupaca, you're not currently warned for this storm. Portage and Waushare counties are. But if you live in and around Waupaca to the west there, just keep an eye on this storm on the western horizon. So this would be near your vicinity by about 746. Let me go over and grab my printer. I had a whole host of things printed out. We've had a lot of hail reported with these storms today. A lot of smaller size stones, but we've also had some quarter size hail reported, and a few instances of some slightly larger hail than that. So it's just after 7 o'clock. We have this storm that is just west of Waupaca. So if you're watching from this part of our coverage area, this is headed your general direction. So Waupaca County, rather, you may be affected by it. Waushare County is officially warned, but we're giving you the first alert, the heads up in Waupaca and maybe Waiawega here by the top of the hour. So assuming the storm does hold together, that's why we are doing our live stream for this right now. All right, so that is complex number one. Let's go up and talk about this other storm that has been drifting just southeast of Crandon. And this has been a big hail producer too. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning for the next 30 minutes for Forest County. This storm has shown a weakening trend. And right now this storm is just southeast of Crandon, southwest of Leona, northwest of Urbino here. And we'll put on our hail tracker. And over the last couple of minutes, it has decreased as far as the volume of large hail. Still likely some smaller hail, but right now, First Alert Viper Max is not detecting a large quantity of big hail. Again, we are continuing to watch out for the threat of some hail in this. So any of you right along and south of Highway 8, US Highway 8, from Leona down to Wabeno here in Forest County, we have a pretty good thunderstorm. And there's also a lot of lightning with this activity too. And just over the last 5 minutes, there's been 40 cloud to ground strikes. This is not cloud to cloud, this would be cloud to ground. And whenever there's cloud to ground, you want to be indoors when these storms roll on through, because you don't want to be affected by the storm, definitely don't want to be affected by lightning. But this is a pretty good thunderstorm with probably a large quantity of smaller hail in it. And let me put the animation on this for the last 30 minutes. It's been drifting to the east and northeast. It looks like it is in a weakening trend. And that was the general thinking. These storms, as they slipped out of central Wisconsin, would begin to pulse down and ease their strength a little bit as they get into our bread and butter here, northeastern Wisconsin, our coverage area. So this part of our territory, technically not part of our television market, but we know a lot of you go on up there. You may have some cabins up here and have some interests across the North Woods for sure. And that's why we are very concerned about anything that happens to the far north, especially as far as strong and severe weather, even winter weather in the colder months. But right now in Forest County, a severe thunderstorm warning until 7:30. Zooming things out, I want to show the entire part of northeastern Wisconsin. And for the most part, we all have most of us have not had any rain today. I'm still trying to get my comment section here. I don't know why I can't get it over here on my phone. We're just kind of, there we go. Okay, so I got my comments going here. So if you do have any questions or comments or concerns, I'm going to try and chime on in there. If you do have any weather reports, let me know. And speaking of the weather reports so far today, let me toggle those on and show you that we have had some large hail over here southeast of Tomahawk. We had near Irma 1-inch diameter hail reported with the storm that is now south of Crandon. And this storm went all the way back over here near Medford, and that produced some near quarter-size hail too. So these storms have had a history. The one that is south of Stevens Point right now, the one that is currently warned, it has had some recent reports of some quarter-size to half-inch hail too. So awfully ferocious. These storms look on radar, and oftentimes we'll get some ground truth, and we are seeing some of that here. Some wind damage reported near the city of Babcock in areas southwest of Wisconsin Rapids here. So again, let me throw the warnings back on. Not a lot of us seeing any active, or seeing, let me start over. Many of us are not seeing active weather, and many of us will not have active weather this evening. So we're doing this live stream to give the few of you the heads up that some of you could be affected. Most of us will not. And that's just the way it's going to be. We'll see how things evolve with the storm that is west of Wapaka right now. It looks like the Forest County storm is weakening just a little bit. Oh man, my mouse is a little bit sticky here tonight. Zooming on in to the storm that is south of Stevens Point. If we turn the lightning off and just look at the magenta colors here, these are where the darker or the brighter colors are. Sometimes we'll get a little black mixed on in, and that's where we would have the larger hail. Now, I want to go back a few scans. This was probably about 10 minutes ago here. So it looks like we may have had some of that hail come on out of the storm. We're scanning the storm at about 5,000 feet. So what we're not seeing here is what is below 5,000 feet. That's about a mile. So there definitely is a lot of stuff that could be happening underneath where we are scanning. But as far as the volume of large hailstones or water droplets, that's what we're picking up here at least 5,000 feet. And there's a lot of that activity here that is moving over Interstate 39 right now. So there is an opportunity. Let me pop on up a few extra cities here on our places map and just talk about areas that could be downstream. So essentially Interstate 39 near Bancroft, and then this storm is going to be moving towards Blaine and eventually towards Wapaka over the next 30 minutes, give or take. So just a heads up here that this storm has had a history of quarter-size hail, and it is a severe warning storm until 7:45. Let's go ahead and pop back on our hail tracker, and we're still picking up on where we have the grays that could be at least an inch in diameter. And our hail swath, this is where hail has likely fallen over the last hour. And you can see the purples, the darker the purple, even some black, that's where we have highly likely hail that has occurred at some point. I haven't had too many reports over the last couple of minutes as it's been slipping near Interstate 39, but this storm has had a history of some quarter-size hail and some wind damage there southwest of Wisconsin Rapids. So that is why I'm going to just continue to monitor this here with our live stream, of course, on the Saturday evening. Hopefully you're doing well. We had a high of 86 degrees today in Green Bay, and that was the warmest temperature since we had 80s, mid to upper 80s in early October. So very warm today as advertised, and now we're getting into the evening where we have some storms rumbling through the area. Fortunately, these are few and far between, so not a lot of us getting in on the action right now. But I should also remind folks that we have a severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect until 10 o'clock. It's been locally extended for parts of our area now, for northeastern parts of Wisconsin, including Nakano, Marinette counties until 10 o'clock, and also for Wapaka and Waushara until 10 o'clock. So this was just locally extended for those two storms. But let's just say most of us will not have any sizable issues here. Current temperatures are still very, very warm. Right now we are in the 70s and 80s away from the lakeshore, and it's much, much cooler near the lakeshore, but very warm still late on the Saturday evening. These are June and July type temperatures here today, very, very warm. So just looking at the radar trend, I'm going to pop the screen up so you can see me for a split second here. Just looking at the radar trend right now, it is 7:12. These storms are showing some signs of weakening. Just looking at the quick glance, but we will just have to monitor for the next 30, 40 minutes to see the trend here. But the trend is that these storms are in a little bit of a weakening phase, and that's where we are headed here. So not expecting a lot of this activity, and really not expecting a lot of this to hold on past 9 or 10 o'clock. So what you see now is going to be with us, and it will be gone before you know it. And most of us will not have a storm, but some of us are getting these storms right now. So just looking at some new information, these storms continue to produce some wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour across north central Wisconsin, out towards northeastern Oneida County, and also parts of northern Forest County. The non-severe warm part of the storm, that would be up here east of, north of Crandon, let's say, out here towards and just south of Eagle River. Those storms could have some gusty wind and maybe some small hail. But the one stronger storm up here to the north is the one near Wabeno and Leona. This is tracking east-northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So let's do a cell track on that. And that would put it over here into the Amberg area. And not too many things popping on up here. So let me add a few communities here. So that would be near Amberg at 8:11 if it does hold together, this northern storm. So not expecting it to be too ferocious for too long, but it still has some hail potential now. And it's right near Blackwell, Leona, Wabeno, and it's going to be moving into northern parts of Nakano County, or northern parts of Marinette County, rather, as we go throughout the next hour. So an early heads up, early first alert for you in these areas from Wasaki northward towards Iron Mountain. There's already a little bit of cloud cover, perhaps a little bit of light rain, and there's still a decent amount of lightning occurring with some of this activity here. 40 strikes over the last 5 minutes, and One other thing to note is if you look closely here, this is something that we are always concerned about. We are getting some lightning strikes that are, this one here is southwest of Lakewood. This is not even where there's any rainfall. This would be one of those bolts out of the blue. It's not blue sky, but it's a lightning strike well displaced from the actual storm, and lightning can occur many miles away from an actual storm, even where it's not raining. So if you can hear thunder, you can always be struck by lightning. Just never forget that. It's always one of those things. If you can hear thunder, in theory, you are close enough to be affected by lightning. So lightning is occurring even away from the actual storm. That warning for Forest County goes until 7:30. Most likely that will be allowed to expire on time. Going back to the southern storm, south of Plover right now, north of Plainfield. For Portage County, for Washira County, a warning until 7:45. This does not include the areas near Wapaka, but we are concerned that if we get that storm to hold together, it will be slipping into Wapaka County at some point. And even if it's not warned, we will likely get a storm in Wapaka very, very soon with a lot of lightning, some breezes, and likely some heavy downpours and some small hail. So this storm is headed your general direction. The question now is, will it be strong or will it be severe? And the trends right now just suggest that it is likely going to remain strong, but maybe it's not going to be severe. Just looking at the hail trend, we have lost a lot of the darker grays. It was over the last 30 minutes, this is me swiping through, and we've gone from some gray to dark gray there with our hail size estimate from First Alert Viper Max to now most likely a lot of sub-severe hail, but these storms can pulse up and down. And again, we have that warning that goes until 7:45. So just another quick storm track on this batch of storms. Is moving east about 35 miles per hour. So this would still be in the Wapaka area within the next 30 minutes or less. So just a early heads up on that. There's a pretty good storm headed your general direction, and we'll have some activity here. There's also a little cell, little shower trying to pop on up. This is northeast of Bear Creek, and this is southeast of Clintonville. But there's a little bit of rainfall activity occurring here as well, about 8 miles southeast of Clintonville. So interesting to see. Let's go to our sky cam in. I'm going to bring up our Shawano camera. I'm probably going to have to move it around just a split second here, but this is our Shawano sky cam. I'm going to move it back down to, we're looking northwest. I'm going to move it, and so we see if we're looking down to the southwest, what we can see there. Hope you had a great Saturday evening, or a great Saturday in total. It was really nice, very summer-like. So now we're looking southwest at the storm complex there. All right, so obviously it's a little stormier looking south towards the activity there. So we'll just keep that there and monitor things and see how things roll. So at this point, that is the lay of the land. We have a couple of strong storms. Let's go ahead and bring up our satellite product. These storms fired up along a cold front. Now this cold front coming on in is relatively weak. It's not the strongest cold front, and the energy in the atmosphere is not the most robust. There's still some wind energy, just enough to produce the storms. As far as low-level moisture, dew points today were in the 50s for the most part. Some of us got the 60, but the atmosphere was mixing with the gusty breezes we had and turning over a little bit, and that was allowing the lower levels of the atmosphere to dry out, and will dry relative to where it could have been. And so we didn't have a lot of pooling low-level moisture that could gather and team up with the cold front and produce very strong storm activity on a widespread basis. But the colors you see here, the brighter the color, the taller the cloud top, the colder the cloud top, And just over the last couple of minutes, we've gone from some bright reds to more in the way of orange. So it looks like some of these storms could be generally weakening as radar has been indicated. So that's a view from outer space, always neat to see. And just looking at radar, we have clusters of some storms, and we'll put the lightning back on here. So still a fair amount of lightning with both complexes. In this one radar view alone, we have about 136 strikes in the last 5 minutes. So a pretty good light show in some spots here this evening, up towards Wabeno, Leona right now. And also west of Wapaka, we are beginning to see that storm get closer and closer. So as of now, just to reset the situation, it is 7:20 on our Saturday evening. We've got just 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, one for Forest County and also for Portage and Waushara counties until 7:45. The Portage County one goes until 7:30, and that most likely is going to be allowed to go away. All right, let me get in with my chat with the Weather Service and see what they are giving us the latest heads up here. So, had some quarter-size hail plus stones reported near Wisconsin Rapids with those storms earlier, about 7:05. We've had some other hail reports as well. The thunderstorm warning for Wood County was canceled. And there was also, some quarter-size hail reported with that. And also west-northwest of Almond in Portage County, some 1-inch hail was reported, along with some very gusty wind. So we've had some issues here, but they've been few and far between, and really limited to areas in central and north-central Wisconsin, not so much in our area. So that is the very latest here. Let's go in and check out the storm west of Wapaka. And we've been talking a lot about hail, but what about the wind in this storm? We use our storm wind strength product to describe areas that would probably have the strongest wind, rotating wind. Apologize for me not talking clearly tonight. It's my mind's all over the place tonight, but trying to multitask here for sure. But we're not getting a lot of excessive gusty wind at this point being detected by radar here. This is about 4,700 feet above the ground. And this is just our standard wind velocity here, scanning up here, and there could be some 30 to 40 plus mile per hour winds. But some of this could be a little bit on the gusty side as it deflects towards the ground. So again, we're sampling at this is about 4,000 to 5,000 feet above ground. As far as rotating storm wind, not seeing that, which is good news, but we still have the hail potential, at least some small hail here. Areas near Bancroft, Almond, southeast of Wisconsin Rapids. This is far southeastern Portage County now, and it's not too far away from Wapaka. So just heads up, we'll zoom on in here. This is going to come in soon. This is the good rain is about 12 miles to the west of Wapaka right now. So first will be these areas near the county line, Cobbtown, Sheridan, and then eventually Wapaka, these areas out here in western parts of Wapaka County. So just heads up there, the storm is moving your general direction, and as I mentioned, we're getting some of these rogue lightning strikes like this one here, even out ahead of the actual storm. So I'm sure the skies are darkening. I wish we had a sky cam out there to see how things are evolving there, but I'm kind of blind at this point from a coverage perspective. But if you're out there looking at this, the skies will be darkening for sure, and then we'll have the rain, the breezes, perhaps some small hail, and then the storms will be done. And this is just the last 30 minutes. The fact that there's a cluster of storms versus just one big storm is also an item of interest here. It looks like they are going to, going back to the northern storms, that warning for Forest County is going to expire, and no new warning has been issued, but we are tracking a batch of strong storms that will be affecting northern Marinette County here over the next hour, and there could be some wind gusts up to 40 and some small hail size of a half-inch size hailstone there. So that would be north of Lakewood, between Lakewood and Iron Mountain, the northern part of this. That's where we have an opportunity for some stronger storms, but at this point it looks like we're not going to get a new warning across northern parts of Marinette County. So that's certainly good news. Let's go and see, have we had any power outages with any of this lightning? We have. So this is over in areas west of Stevens Point. I can't query this map, but this would be some low-end power outages here. And that would just be because of the wind and some of the lightning, most likely, as the storms have been moving on through. So thankfully, not too many widespread issues here, but there's obviously some ongoing concerns out there. And not every customer is likely being detected on some of those power outage maps, but that product does a pretty good job. All right, so it's 7:25. We have a couple of strong storms across our region. The Forest County storm is likely not going to be rewarned. Let's go in and investigate that real quick. So northeast of Wabeno, east of Leona, this is moving towards Armstrong Creek in Dunbar, and this is northern parts of Marinette County. You're going to get a good storm, some small hail, and likely some breezes that could be in excess of 30 to around 40 miles per hour. But as far as strong wind and severe strong wind and large hail, looking less likely now as the storm has weakened a little bit. Good news there. Going back down to the storm west of Wapaka, we have lost some intensity here. So I'm going to backtrack this again 30 minutes. We really had a good storm here. Turn the lightning off and pop on our reports. And we had some really intense storms. And now it looks like we've lost some of the luster on some of these storms. And that's good news. We don't want severe storms in northeastern Wisconsin that can cause damage and serious impacts. We'll take the rain. We don't necessarily want to have too much more that comes with that. But just looking at the trend as far as radar reflectivity and as far as our hail reports, we have lost a lot of grays on our hail size estimate with Viper Max, and that's certainly good news. But not too long ago, this was about 20 minutes ago, northwest of Almond in southeastern Portage County, as you can see here with the report, 1-inch hail and an estimated 70-mile-per-hour wind gust, and a tree down over a road here. So, you know, we can get some gusty wind and we can have some large hail, and we did. That was about 7:03. That was just after 7 o'clock. So when we had some of the storm, probably right about there. So we still have some potential, and this is about ready to slip over the county line and get into southwestern and western Wapaka County. So just a heads up here, we do have some items of concern. Just looking at some folks, some good hail reports coming in from central Wisconsin, near Wisconsin Rapids, of nearly a 1-inch size, and also some spooky clouds in this for sure. I have been monitoring the radar today. We really weren't in like classic severe weather mode where we would have anticipated rotating storms that would have produced tornadoes or anything like that. So there really hasn't been that kind of rotation detected on these storms today. But we have had enough to produce the large hail and some strong wind. But right now, at least from a radar perspective, folks, things are in a much better position as far as where we go from here. A couple of stronger storms, but not a lot of widespread severe weather. And as we mentioned yesterday and this morning, and even at 6 o'clock when the storms were just firing to our west, we were expecting these storms to weaken as they moved into northeastern Wisconsin. And that's indeed what's looks to be what's happening here across our area. So here's our SkyCam network. We have some storms around as we've shown you, but there's a lot of debris cloud now drifting across the region, the blow off from the storms that have been moving on through. So we've lost that sun, and now we have fairly cloudy conditions out there. It's still warm, but we don't have the full sun that we had earlier. So here's our 3D radar, and let's go in and show you something here. This is really neat. Bear with me while I set this up. I'm going to have to change something. This will show you the hail core in the storm that is west of Wapaka. So, and if we do a slice on this, so we're getting some good reflectivity here. This is the brighter the color, the more intense the rainfall and the more likely that there's hail within this. And that core is going up to about 30,000 feet west of Wapaka. And that's when the part of the storm that did produce the large hail reports across Portage County, Wood County, just to our west. So this storm has had a pretty good history of some growth, but right now, as it approaches the Wapaka County line, we still have it up to about 30,000 feet as far as that core goes, but it probably not as intense as it was. And as we scan the other storm cells too, there's pockets of some hail within these other cores too, probably some smaller hail. But most of the lightning is geared towards this first one right here, and that's where the big hail core goes up to about 20,000 feet. So we can do a lot with First Alert Viper Max. Sometimes we're time constricted on the TV side, so we can't do a lot of fancy analysis. But right now we have a lot of time on our hands with the stream where I can do a lot of stuff. So Jacob asking about Appleton getting some rain this evening. At this point, I would say there's a chance that we're going to get the remnants of the storm that is moving towards Wapaka right now. So assuming this does hold together, this would probably, these storms are moving about 35 miles per hour, so this storm would probably be, let me just measure this here. So within the hour, I would say, by maybe 8:30, there's a chance of some rain in the Appleton area. We'll see. Some guidance doesn't really take all of this across all of northeastern Wisconsin, but it's a possibility if this does hold together. The one near Wapaka could slip just to the north of Appleton. This one to the southwest could still hold together. So I would say for Appleton, there's likely a chance for some rain, some thunder, but the odds of severe weather pretty slim. And as a matter of fact, speaking of the severe weather potential, the National Weather Service in Green Bay has just dropped and canceled the thunderstorm warning that was in effect for areas west of Wapaka. So as of now, we've lost the severe thunderstorm warnings here, and that's good news. So we'll just continue to monitor our storms here for the next little while here. Yeah, you bet, Jacob. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning on in. Hope you have a great night. My job here is to give you the latest and greatest info, so if you have any extra comments, let me know. Right now we have no severe weather. We're going to go back in and inspect some of these strong storms. So the storm that was moving towards Wapaka, you're still going to get a storm. Likely this is producing small hail. This would be less than 1/4 inch size, and it's going to produce some downpours and a lot of lightning. So let me toggle back my lightning and the counter on this. So in just this one view alone, the storm that is moving into the Wapaka area right now, this has been producing about 45 cloudy ground strikes in the last 5 minutes. So come indoors, listen to the thunder, watch the rain. You may get some small hail. It doesn't look like it's going to be a catastrophic event here, but we'll take the rain for sure. And just be safe with these storms because they are producing lightning. You want to be indoors and not under a tree or on the water or anything like that, indoors in a sturdy structure as these storms come on through. So non-severe storms right now. to the west of Wapaka, but you are about ready to get socked with a pretty good thunder boomer, if you will, in Wapaka. And also here across in northern Marinette County, we have the remnants of the storm that did have some hail, some large hail potential with it. This is likely sub-severe hail. Let me go on and show you that. This product's delayed just a little bit because the radar has to calculate a couple of things, but we can estimate just by looking at this that there's probably some small hail falling southwest of Dunbar near Goodman, somewhere in here. Downpour, some small hail, and some breezes. But at this point, non-severe activity. And in case you're wondering, severe storm criteria is 1-inch diameter hail, 58-mile-per-hour wind gusts, or a tornado. Of course, a tornado is severe weather. So one of those three things, or a combination thereof, that's what we need to actually kick off a severe thunderstorm warning. Brady, you guys can put a sky cam on my silo in Marion. I'd love it. Talk to our salespeople, and maybe we can come up with an arrangement. We would love to have sky cams in every tall object around northeastern Wisconsin. That would be fantastic. But unfortunately, we don't have that right now. So we're working with what we got. But yeah, definitely reach out if you want to talk to our salespeople, and maybe we can work out a deal. But just kind of joking there. But all right. So Ryan's asking about the future track thing. So yeah. So let me bring that up real quick. I'm going to pull up our sky cams. Just hold tight here. Let me pull up one of our sky cams, and I got to change our. We're going to go to Sturgeon Bay real quick. So you can see some folks enjoying this great evening. Yeah, it's been a great Saturday. Don't get lulled to sleep thinking that this is here to stay, because we will have some stormy weather coming in as we start the work week, and then it's going to be cooler. This is likely the warmest day we're going to have for a while. So let's talk about the future here. So as far as our future forecast, let's go ahead and get into this. So let me delete these pause points. What time is it? It is 7:30. All right, so yeah, let me bring this up. Okay, so had some folks asking about where we are headed from here. So this is about 8 o'clock, and this is not gospel, but it's got the general trend. I like the trend here, and it's got a broken line of rain and storms, and then by 9 o'clock, stuff is really weakening, really spotty in nature, and then by 10, 11 o'clock, any strong stuff would be done. There could be some pockets of some downpours out there, and it should all be done rain-wise and all that stuff by midnight. And then after that, we're just going to clear out. And our temperatures are still very warm. We'll be in the 60s at midnight, and let's just go through the rest of the night. 6 o'clock in the morning when the sun rises, most of us in the 50s. Some of us will be in the upper 40s, especially in the north. If you have any interest in the marathon in Green Bay on Sunday, it's going to be gorgeous. Wow, it's going to be a great day. We start out in the 50s Sunday, a lot of sunshine. By midday Sunday, we are in the low to mid 70s away from the lakeshore. We'll be cooler near Lake Michigan again, but still quite refreshing. And as we get into the afternoon, clouds will tend to increase a little bit, but still pretty nice. Upper 70s to around 80 inland, some 60s to around 70 near the lakeshore with a bit of a lake breeze. But that's where we are headed for Sunday. I do want to show you real quick, as long as we're doing this, let's go into Sunday night. There's going to be some wet weather that will try to move in Monday night or Sunday night, Monday morning. So you may wake up to some wet weather, rain and storms Monday. And there will be waves of rain and storms moving through the region during the day Monday. This is about noon. And going into the afternoon, still a chance. And some of those could be on the hefty side. There is a risk for some strong to severe weather Monday and Tuesday. And let me just talk about that real quick. So the severe risk area on Monday stretches from Wisconsin down to Kansas. It's still kind of iffy for us here, but there still could be some wind and hail issues at some point somewhere in the region during the day Monday. Going into Tuesday, well, we've got an interesting setup with the storms that a line of storms could set up southwest of Wisconsin, think Iowa, Missouri, and then track to the northeast going into Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, Tuesday night. So let me show you that with our bigger run of predictor. Again, Monday, some rain and storms around. It looks like that wave will move through. Now, this is the European model I'm showing you, and this is a little bit different than the American GFS model, but this is delaying things a little bit on Tuesday, more so for the latter part of the day. This would be 4 or 5 o'clock. So it's showing our area really wouldn't have a lot of concern as far as severe weather goes until the evening and overnight, if it does develop. But it does have a pretty good swath of wet weather and likely storms in this going into Tuesday evening, Tuesday night, with some lingering rain showers on Wednesday. So that is the general thinking as far as upcoming strong to severe weather. And as far as Monday and Tuesday goes, we may get soaked with 1 to 2, maybe up to 3 inches of rain here. So as far as storms go today, very isolated. Some of us have had some decent downpours. Most of us have not and will not for the next couple of hours with the threat of these isolated storms. But there is definitely some wet weather potential coming our way as we get into Monday and Tuesday. So, all right. Let's reset the situation real quick here. All right, so Ryan, hopefully I answered your question there, and appreciate all the comments here. Yeah, so I'm just going to be hanging out here probably up until about the top of the hour, just want to babysit things. And this is what I used to do down in Mississippi all the time when we would have storms like this all the time. It seems like every day. We would do some long-form severe weather coverage online and social and that kind of stuff, and just kind of babysit the storms and just monitor things. And we'll go back on the TV side if we get any new warnings. But right now, we are in fairly good shape. And actually, I need to call our master control real quick. Just hold tight. I'll mute my mic real quick. All right. Hey, Keith and Weather. Hey, so we've lost all the warnings, so we can go back to just doing that crawl we just have watches. So we can just go back and do that every 30 minutes? Yeah, just do that. And trends aren't too good for any extra warnings, but I'll give you a buzz if we have another one. But that's the plan for now. Great, thanks. Okay. All right, so just had to communicate with our control room and tweak our TV crawl. We've lost the warning, so we've got NBA basketball on tonight, and we're going to make it a little bit less obtrusive by just popping up the crawl every 30 minutes, since we just have the severe thunderstorm watch now for a handful of counties and not any warnings at this time. But we're still tracking some stronger storms here. So it looks like the northern storm here has perked on up just a little bit. So this is the storm south of Goodman in northwestern Marinette County. I want to go ahead and put our hail tracker back on. And this is pulsed up. Again, this product is a little bit delayed, but we may have some hail up to the size of a quarter again. But until we get some ground truth, we're just going with the radar estimate here. So that would be for areas south of Goodman, southwest of Dunbar, and this is about 10 miles, more or less 8-10 miles southwest of Dunbar here, where there could be a little bit of larger hail falling at this time. So let's see, Barbara asking, none in Ocano. The city of, I would say the chance of rain tonight, slim to none there. Can't rule it out. We've got a couple of batches of storms moving through, but by the time this would get towards Green Bay and Ocano, not looking good for rain. I'll probably have to be watering my flowers, and I'm sure some of you will be doing that as well tomorrow too, since many of us will miss out on the rain today. I would plan on more wet weather going into Monday and Tuesday though. But tonight, Ocano, Green Bay, still looking kind of iffy. But like we mentioned, Wapaka, the storm was supposed to arrive about 7:45, and here we are 7:43. The storm is moving in at a weakened intensity, but we are still getting some downpours, tons of lightning here, and it's just a good old-fashioned thunderstorm coming on through. western parts of Waupaca County into the city of Waupaca. So that's why we're here on the stream. We're letting you know what's happening here. But as far as severe weather goes, it doesn't look like a major ordeal. Still some smaller hailstones being detected in some of this activity. And as far as our wind potential in this, really not a lot. So gusty wind for sure over 30, that's a possibility, maybe up to 40, some small hail and some downpours. But severe weather on a widespread basis looking more and more unlikely unless one of these just happens just to perk up just a little bit. So we'll see. But right now the trend is in our favor. And this is a good, just in case you're wondering, this is a good 53 miles away from Green Bay, and these storms are moving. Let me clear that off real quick. These storms are moving about 35 miles per hour, so I have to tweak this real quick. This is, okay, so this is a little bit more accurate depiction. So assuming the Waupaca batch of rain and storms holds together, moves east-northeast, which a lot of this stuff has been trending that general direction, it would be in the Green Bay area in about an hour and a half. So that would be a little after 9. We'll see. But that's the guesstimate now. But as we get deeper into the evening, the intensity of this activity is expected to wane. And one other thing to note, we've lost a lot of the sun because of the overcast, the shooting, the anvils, the blow off from the storms. That has produced some overcast conditions, and that has limited the warming that we would have had going into the early evening, even with the sun still being up. So now it's pretty cloudy. We're getting into the evening. The sun is not set yet officially, but it's pretty cloudy. So a lot of the best potential for energy to allow more growth in these storms is likely capped at a below severe strength level. And these storms, while they'll still be relatively strong for the next hour or two, it looks like for the most part, I would be shocked if we get too much in the way of really strong activity. Suspect we won't see any more severe weather warnings at this point, but never say never. Mother Nature will dictate that. But as far as where we have been, let me just pop on our storm reports, and let me pop off the radar and the lightning, and we'll clean this up just a little bit. Oh, lost my reports. There they go. All right, so all of the little dots, most of these little dots illustrate where we've had some hail tonight or today, stretching all the way from the Keweenaw Peninsula to central Wisconsin, and goes all the way down here southeast of La Crosse. So most of this has been to our northwest, basically where we were thinking it was going to be today. We just had a little tease here this evening with these storms encroaching upon northeastern Wisconsin. But some of these have given rise to some large hail reports going into this area. South of Stevens Point, we had some 1-inch hail reported here. This was east of Wisconsin Rapids. Also some 1-inch hail there, and some nearly 1-inch hail there. So we've had some large hail here southwest of Stevens Point, and even over here across parts of Portage County, as we mentioned, and even back to the northwest. Southeast of Tomahawk, we had some quarter-size hail. Most likely, there's been some hail that has occurred out there that has not been reported, and it fell, but unless somebody reports it, we can just assume it fell because we can detect it from a radar perspective. And I want to show you our hail swath, and I'm going to show you, these storms started to bubble about 4 hours ago. I'm going to go back 4 hours. So we'll go back to 3:48. And I'm going to just scrub through the timeline here, and you'll be able to see the movement of the purple lines, and that illustrates the paths of the storms. And really we had two clusters. One that moved across the north between Wausau and Rhinelander, and that one moved into Forest County, produced some hail. And we had the second batch that got going down there south of Stevens Point, and that's the remnants now moving towards or into Wapaka right now. So a couple of clusters that produced a little extra hail and a little bit more robust activity, but by and large, this has not been a widespread severe weather outbreak, and that's welcome for sure. We don't really want to have like a big squall line that rips on through the entire area. And if you've been following the news recently, you saw the big derecho event that occurred down from Houston down across the Gulf Coast to New Orleans with all the power problems and the damage and the fatalities and all of that. So those folks down there really got hit hard, and that just puts our things, minor. These storms aren't minor, but the event is. So it puts our storms into perspective where we do have issues. It's not as widespread or as destructive, and that's good news. But as long as we have storms out there, they can cause problems, hail, wind, and dangerous lightning too. Any thunderstorm by definition is producing lightning. You need lightning to produce the thunder. And some of these lightning strikes have been even outside of where the actual rain and storms have been. So just be extra careful here. We're still getting strikes like this one here south of Athelstan, which is a pretty good distance from where the actual storm is. That's a good, it's almost 8-10 miles from where the actual rain is. So like those kind of strikes are the ones that sneak up on you. And this is not the day that we would have like, well, now it's almost sunset. I'm just rambling here, but like sometimes you'll have these storms as they start to form. You have those cumulus congestus type cauliflower clouds going, and there'll be a lot of blue. You may hear a rumble. But those are the kind of clouds when they first form, the storms first form, you get those random lightning strikes that will produce that crack of thunder out of the blue. And you have to be extra careful before the storm really starts to show up on radar and gets going. But anyway, that's where we're headed here. Just to reset, it's 7:51. No severe weather in northeastern Wisconsin at this time. I do want to show you, before I get out of here, I'm going to probably end the stream about 8 o'clock and go back to my evening activities here, but we're in fairly good shape. Some small hail still being detected as we look at the storms west of Amberg up to southwest of Iron Mountain here, and up here near Argonne, north of Leona. We do have some lightning, some downpours, pockets of some small hail within this. And the strongest activity here seems to be this one here moving towards Amberg. So Amberg, Pembine, just be a little bit extra cautious. This could actually produce some hailstones maybe bigger than the size of a nickel. Just be aware of that, in addition to downpours and lightning. So that's one of the stronger storm cells. It's moving towards Amberg and just heads up there along 141 northern Marinette County. Also Wapaka, you've had your storm. It's moving through right now. This is still showing signs of some smaller hail within this and some gusty breezes, but these are lightning producers, rain producers. I did have a report earlier across far northern Wisconsin where some spots had, and this is a 30-minute lapse right here, somebody reported, I think it was about 2 inches of rain in a short order with one of the storms that moved through far northern Wisconsin today. I think I saw that come across my computer screen earlier before I got sidetracked into our show. So that's where we're headed here this evening. A couple of clusters of storms. If you're just wondering what's going on, I would say we're not completely out of the woods yet. I like the trend. We hope not to go back on to any severe weather coverage here tonight, but as long as we have some storms out there, we are still going to babysit these things. But right now we have a pretty decent trend. If nothing else, we'll have some downpours and lightning and some small hail here. And let me move our Appleton camera around, since that is going to be moving into that general direction soon. Hopefully you've had a great Saturday. I know I said that before. It was just like a dream. This is the warmest day since early October. And it wasn't too terribly humid. The dew point did creep up just a little bit this afternoon, but not too terribly muggy. We're going to have very dry air tomorrow, so things will be much, much better as far as the humidity. And today really wasn't that bad. It's just going to be exceptional tomorrow morning. Wow. When you wake up in the morning, it's going to be a really sunny and quiet and comfortable start to our Sunday. Oh, hey, okay. Here's something cool. Looks like I got a rainbow from our Shawano camera. Let me pop that up real quick. All right, so there we go. Yeah, there we go. All right, it's always good to end the night with a rainbow. And if you're underneath that rainbow, maybe there's a pot of gold for you. But that is looking south and southeast from Shawano. So cool to see here with our sky cam up there. A nice little rainbow, always nice to see. The calm after the storm, and if you didn't get the storm, the calm after someone got the storm, you can see that with the sun beginning to set, we get a little burst of color there on those clouds, and rain still falling there. So that would be with this little light rain that is southeast of Shawano. That's the blow off from the storms that are down in Wapaka. So even with the storm many miles away, you can still get some cool effects. But that's the latest and greatest, folks, here. I'm going to wrap this up, and we'll just continue to see how things go. Debbie's saying she needs rain in Manitowoc. Yeah, and most likely not tonight. I can't rule it out, but better bet here for rain going into our Monday and Tuesday. Go back to Sturgeon Bay real quick, and folks are enjoying a little fire there. Wow, looks like a nice night. So anyway, that is the latest and greatest here on our Saturday evening. Meteorologist Keith Gibson here in the First Alert Weather Center, keeping you updated on the latest and greatest. At this point, things seem to be simmering down just a little bit, but of course we have the 10 o'clock news at 10, so I am here, and we'll be babysitting radar. Hopefully things don't go off the rails, and if you do have any extra reports or any information, get on into our app. You can upload some pictures and shoot us an email at weather@wbay.com, and just give us any extra insight that you may have. But right now things look to be relatively tame, with some non-severe activity, with some lightning, some downpours, some breezes, some small hail. Nothing we haven't had before, but we'll take the rain if you are lucky enough to get it. But hopefully at this point, no more severe weather for the rest of tonight, and the storms we do have will be fading away. By midnight, we go clear, and some great weather tomorrow. So there's the very latest on our Saturday evening. Hopefully you have a great night, and we'll see you on TV at 10, if not before. Let's hope not before. That would mean more storms. But we'll see you at 10, and of course, we'll have a great Sunday for tomorrow, and we'll be watching early next week. Have a good night.